What's up? I just finished my meditation, and man, dude, it really does feel like the thing that is most important personally to do on any day, because it just gets you into this space of what's happening instead of mind loops of what's happened or what might happen. It's like you get to come into contact with what's happening now and feel how good it is. It's so good now. It's actually crazy. Like the culmination of, infinity just happening now. And it just feels like as long as I have that, as long as I am remembering, you don't have to meditate to be in now, but it is a primer. It can drop you in quickly. And man, it just feels like all the worry dissolves now. Because you're not trying to be anywhere else. You don't want to be anywhere else. Why would you want to be somewhere other than now when now is all there is? And I've talked about this in the Vipassana episode, but the end of when I do these meditations, the ending technique, which you do for like 5 minutes at the end, is called Mettapala, and it's basically just wishing all beings well. May all beings be happy. You just spend a couple of minutes like wishing the absolute best for everyone ever. And dude, the feelings associated with doing that are so extreme, so intensely positive, which makes sense. Obviously, but like you're literally feeling love for everyone. And it sounds like simple, but I was thinking about it and I'm like, if there's anyone that I would exclude from this well-wishing is cutting myself off from feelings of love. Let's say there's somebody like, the guy who molested me or whoever it is, like somebody that did something to you that's like, that's unforgivable. I would never feel love for that person. Like, whatever the rationale is, that's because when you're saying like, may all beings be happy, may all beings be loved, you are pouring love into the universe and it's originating from you. So while you are doing this, you are feeling love. In order for you to wish may all beings be happy, to really mean that, you have to be experiencing the feeling of love, which is why it feels so good. And therefore, if there's somebody that you're like, no, I can't feel love for that person. I can't feel love for that person. That's just you saying, I'm not going to allow myself to feel love for that person or whoever, like whatever it is. And it's this shift in recognition of like, because I understand it. It's like, well, I don't want to like condone their behavior, and but you're not condoning it. It's recognizing on a soul level that is somebody who was struggling and having a deeply hard time. And I'm not going to restrict the amount of love that I feel because of other people for any reason. Like, I don't want to, in the same way that I don't want to spend a moment outside of now, I don't want to spend a moment outside of love. And I don't think there's anything different between now and love. I think love basically is what now is. And so that sort of shift in perspective to, it's the saying, forgiveness is for you. I feel like I get that on a deeper level. It's like, like you're loving everyone else and therefore loving yourself. Or you're loving yourself and therefore loving everyone else. And it doesn't mean that you like lose the ability. Like if this guy tried to molest me again, I wouldn't be like, hell yeah, dude, come on, let's do it. Obviously, like you still have the ability to prevent unwanted things from happening to you. But nothing ever has to snap you out of the feeling of love. Unless you'd prefer to, in which case, go right ahead. But it just feels like, I don't know. What an amazing feeling and knowing. To be like, no matter what happens to me, I never have to stop. I never have to step out of love. And even though I do constantly, like, often, many times throughout the day, throughout every day, you just keep coming back and you keep building love momentum. And I think you can basically get to the space where you're not leaving it anymore. You're never stepping out of love. And even in the midst of whatever it is that you're experiencing that you don't prefer, you can still be totally engulfed with and exuding love. And why not? Why not? I've spent most of my life feeling like fucking anger and hatred and fear and all this stuff that doesn't feel as good. So, anyway, it was a fun sequence. Felt like sharing. And the other thing I was thinking I could do for like a daily 10 is like panic moments, like today's panic moments, and then you could do the opposite, like today's love moments. So that'll be it. That'll be today's. I mean, hopefully there's many more love moments today, but before I meditated, I noticed that I was feeling like it's Sunday and I woke up pretty late today, and sometimes it's like if I wake up late, I'll find myself almost waking up in like a panic, being like, oh man, I had all this stuff that I was going to do, and almost like guilty for not being quote unquote productive. And so I woke up this morning and I noticed I didn't feel any of that. And I think the main reason was because I just felt so good physically. Like I really allowed myself to rest hard. And if you can shift your perspective on what productivity means, like for example, I could have gotten up this morning and done all my tasks and absolutely hated it. And like I may have gotten them done, but I wouldn't be doing them in love. And I know from experience that what I do in love is infinitely more productive and fun than anything I do in another emotion. So it was just like a brief perspective shift from like, okay, if I reframe what rest is, like rest is essential. If you don't rest, you can't do anything. So even though it's not conventionally productive and is actually conventionally considered to be the opposite of productive, I mean, I remember in college waking up late and people would make fun of me, and I like started feeling shame for, not waking up early and having coffee and being a productive member of society, like all this shit. And now it's like, dude, fuck that. I am going to rest as long as I need to, whenever I can, because I know that the best work, quote unquote, that I will do is when I am relaxed and calm. And so anyway, it was just interesting waking up and sort of seeing what would have in the past been potentially a worrisome instance, waking up in a panic, just feeling the opposite of that. being like, wow, in the same way that you can feel love in any moment, you can feel maybe, what is the opposite of panic? Calm. You can feel calm in any moment too. And it's so funny. I'm like just watching my head. It's like, okay, I've been recording for 10 minutes. I guess I can stop. And then just out of nowhere, my brain goes, was this interesting? Are people going to find this interesting? Whatever. And I'm like, just you don't have to worry about what people are thinking about what you're doing. All you need to focus on is how you feel as you're doing it. And let everything else just be as it is. Like, it's not your responsibility to manage the emotions of everyone in your reality. Because I'm not forcing anyone to listen to this or watch this. And if you watched till now, I hope you liked it. But I'm just going to assume that you're not watching this just being upset with me. Because, and this is, you don't even need a reason, but because I prefer it. And that is enough of a reason. Always. You don't have to explain yourself. It just feels better. So, I'm going to stay in love, and I'm going to keep sleeping hard, and I'm going to keep doing these recordings. Hope you're having a great Sunday. Send in lots of love wherever you are. Peace.